pretty half decent. They could have worked on the characters a little bit, but it was okay. It was okay.
It was okay.
For sure.
Okay.
I really liked, I don't know, I just like the quantum universe, but it was good. It was good.
Okay.
I loved how, like, the movie was really great, and, like, I loved the whole set of the movie, and it was a really good movie, and I would really recommend it, and it had a really good, it had a good villain, and like that in another Marvel show, it had, like, the whole movie had kind of a twist.
Yes, I'm in. I'm on the set of the No Spoiler Show. Naturally, the security system was no match for my superior intellect. Now to spoil every movie ever made for everyone, especially the ones that are still in production. Wait, what? What's this? Ants? Out of my way, bugs. I don't speak ant. I've got work to do.
Hold it right there, buddy. No intruders on the set. If you want my autograph, you'll have to come back later.
And who's gonna stop me, old man? You? Wait a minute. You can speak ant?
Of course I can. I'm Stan Lee. I can do anything.
No. Wait. Stop. Release me at once. I command it. Put me down this instant. You can't do this to me. Do you know who I am? I have so many movies to spoil.
What didn't I like about it? So, like I said, like some of the characters definitely could have been worked on. Not giving too many spoilers. They weren't very well thought out. I don't know. It was a pretty good movie.
Okay. Just...
I don't know. I kind of think Cass is annoying, but you know, that's just me. I just think she's annoying personally.
So one of the villains, like, was like really bad CGI, and like he was really weird, and like I didn't like him that much.
Okay, so all right then. So what do you think? Thumbs up, thumbs down, what? Okay.
But I would give it like a 7 out of 10.
Greetings, kids! It's me, your old Uncle Padrino here, and welcome to the very first episode of the second season of the No Spoiler Show. Why? Because this is the first movie we went to go see in 2023. That rhymes. So, anyway, as you can see before I stepped in, those were clips of two of my god kiddos. One of them's 8, one of them's 14, and they were both giving their honest thoughts and opinions about this movie that we went to go see, this movie in particular. So, and just to clear the air, not because I farted, and I didn't, but just to clear the air, they weren't bribed. This wasn't rehearsed. They weren't coached. There was no teleprompter behind me telling them what to do and what to say and applaud and all of that. I just turned my camera on and put them on the spot and just started recording and asked them what they thought about this movie. And those were their genuine, honest opinions about this movie, okay? So, and as you can see, they were different, somewhat different. And I think what I'll do from now on, anytime I go watch a movie with them, if there's time, I'll record them and ask them what they thought about the movie, and I'll put them in future episodes of No Spoiler episodes for movie reviews. Unless, of course, I go watch the movie by myself, then you're stuck with this ugly mug from then on out. But anyway, before I give this movie my special brand of justice, let's talk about something, okay? Let's talk about ants, all right? They're interesting little bugs. What do we know about ants? They're teeny weeny, teeny tiny, and they're very strong and can lift 50 times their weight. And just like the Constructicons, when they merge and form Devastator, they work as one cohesive unit.
Prepare for extermination!
So, we also know what? they're also turning into zombies now. So thanks to a fungus that's found in certain parts of South America. The same fungus that infects humans in the video game series and TV series based off the video game series The Last of Us. So help the ants, please. Please, your donations would do wonders for the ants. These magnificent creatures need our help to fight zombification. If I had some Sarah McLachlan music playing behind me, that would probably work a lot better, but it's copyrighted material and YouTube frowns upon that. So anyway, we also know that ants can be very heroic, all right? There's been several generations of heroic ants. There was Hank Pym, the original Ant-Man, and one of the original founding members of the Avengers. There was the Hanna-Barbera cartoon character, Adam Ant. Up and Adam! Adam Ant! Or, as Rhino Wolfcastle would say in The Simpsons, up and at them. And then there was the ant from The Ant and the Aardvark from the Pink Panther cartoons. And then there's Lilliput. Well, he wasn't a hero. He was a villain, a one-time villain in the old Darkwing Duck cartoon show. He was voiced by Frank Welker. And then there was Auntie from Honey, I Shrunk the Kids, who sacrificed himself saving the kids from a scorpion, and he died from getting stung by the scorpion. R.I.P. Auntie, we haven't forgotten about you. If I drank, I would pour 40 in his honor. Do people still do that? But anyway, then there's Pixar Animations, A Bug's Life. And then there's DreamWorks Animations, Ants, which both came out around the same time. And were kind of in a sense competition. Everybody kind of thought that they were copying each other to an extent. Which came first, this one or this one? And then there was the Ant Bully from Nickelodeon. So ants are very heroic. So in my opinion, ants are A-okay, all right? So let's put Flick right here, and let's talk about this movie, all right? Let's go with the positives first, which there aren't very many, in all honesty. The first positive, all the actors bring their A game, okay? There's no doubt about that when it comes to when they choose the majority of the actors in these movies, okay? Michael Douglas, Michelle Pfeiffer, Paul Rudd, and Evangeline Lillian, and Jonathan Majors, they all bring their A game, basically. I mean, there's no doubt. But I think part of the problem is, and I'll get to this later, is the writing. I mean, great actors, but they can only do it with what they can work with. And part of the writing is probably not working out for them. That doesn't mean that they're bad actors. It just may mean that the writing is not really all there. All right. Second positive. Cassie, who is known as Stature in the comics, in the New Avengers comics, okay? She doesn't feel forced in this movie, unlike Riri Williams in Wakanda Forever, or like America Chavez in Multiverse of Madness, okay? And the reason I think that is because Cassie has always been a staple in the Ant-Man franchise, basically, from Ant-Man 1 to 2 and 3. So it feels like she's organically a part of it. It doesn't feel like she's this brand new character that's been forced in and just thrown in just for whatever the reason, basically to advertise for the next Disney Plus show or the next Marvel movie. Okay, so let's jump to the negatives. All right, I've already mentioned the writing. All right, and I'm gonna go back to that. I think this movie has a problem of what it is it wants to be, or what it is they're trying to make it out to be. And I think part of that is because of the writing. Part of the thing about Ant-Man, Scott Lang, he's just an ordinary guy. He was a low-grade crook who served time in prison, and now he's just living his regular, normal, everyday life to take care of his daughter, all right? And he just happened to become a hero on the side. He's not a genius-level intellect. He's not a soldier with super soldier serum inside of him. He's not a god. He's not a king. He's not a king of a nation or anything like that. Just an ordinary, average guy, okay? And I think part of the reason that this movie is a problem is because they took him out of this element and put him in this massive world. Ant-Man is basically a street level hero. So to take him out and put them into this massive world, the quantum realm, it kind of goes against that kind of goes against what he really is, basically. The other thing is Michael Pena is not in this movie. I'm not spoiling anything about that in this movie. It would have been nice to have Michael Pena. This would have been perfect because Scott Lang does some of his narrations in this movie. But the thing is, Michael Pena's character recapping everything that happened either before or after Endgame to this point, just doing a recap would have been perfect. And if nothing else, he should have been there for that. And I think a lot of people would have paid just to see that part, see him do that. Okay. So the other thing is, people who know me and close to me know that I'm not really a fan of the social and political and identity issues and things like that. There are several moments in this movie where you just roll your eyes back and go, oh my God, really are we going to go through this again and talk about this stuff again, yada, yada, yada. Okay, that's a negative for me. It may not be a negative for you. More power to you, okay? The other thing, Kang the Conqueror, the character Kang the Conqueror. Kang the Conqueror has never been really a villain that I really actually cared about in the comics. And the reason being is because he's not really, in my opinion, he's not really that much of a threat. I consider him a lower tier villain, in all honesty, compared to all the other villains that enter in the Marvel Universe. So for me, I don't see him as much of a threat. And I did think of this after Endgame. It's like, okay, how are you going to top Thanos? Thanos was an Omega level threat meaning life-ending or world-ending threat. So I always wondered, it's like, how are they going to top that? And Kang, I think is just, so far he's a bad choice. So far, I just don't see him as a threat. In the Infinity Saga, they built up Thanos. I mean, they really built him up and people who didn't know Thanos, got to see a little tidbits here and there about him, and they still didn't know him unless they Googled him, of course. But people who knew Thanos, we all knew what to expect from him and what was going on. And in the end, in Infinity War and in Endgame, he showed how much of a threat he was. With Kang, especially in this movie, he's not really much of a threat. And here's the thing about Kang the Conqueror. His power set and his abilities are based on the tech that he's acquired over the centuries and different timelines that he's conquered, basically. But he's also the master of time. So if he waved his hand, these aren't the droids that you are looking for. If he waved his hand at a person, they would age rapidly. Or if he waved this hand, wax on, wax off. If he waved this hand at the person, they would de-age rapidly into a baby. Or he could snap his fingers and the person would be frozen and stuck in time. And so, to me, and they do kind of show that a little bit, but they just don't, again, he doesn't give off much of a threat. So I'm hoping, especially because Phase 4 didn't build him up, I'm hoping that we can start seeing some build up for him and see if he'll actually be a threat. But so far, I'm not really impressed. I mean, I think in the Avengers Earth's Mightiest Hero cartoon that came on, that used to air back in the early 2000s, there was one episode where the Avengers are fighting Kang, and Kang waved his hand, and because Hulk was coming at him, and he reverted back to Bruce Banner, basically. So I haven't seen enough of him to go, all right, he's a threat so far anyway. So the next thing is they messed up my boy Taskmaster in Black Widow. Okay, he's one of my favorite anti-heroes. And in this, and it should be no surprise that MODOK is in this. If you don't, because he was shown briefly in some of the trailers, but MODOK is in this. And MODOK, if you don't know, is an acronym for mental organism designed only for killing. At first, it was a C, not a K. It was a mental organism designed only for conquering, but he later changed it to killing. And in this, they changed its name to mechanical organism designed only for killing. And I'm sorry, for me, that's not right. The whole point of MODOK is he's mental. Yes, he's very scientific and he's mechanical, but overall his power set comes from his mental, basically. So they messed that up. And also, look at what they did to my boy MODOK. They messed him up. Which leads also to another thing, another negative in this movie. The CGI special effects in this movie in places are horrible, and especially on MODOK. And if you decide to go watch the movie, you'll see what I mean. It's like, oh my God, really? It's like, there are some parts in this, it's like, okay, fine. But there are some parts in this, it's like, no, this isn't good. But rumor came out a couple of months ago that some of the CGI special effect companies that Disney was using for their movies and TV shows were highly overworked and were difficult to work with because Disney, you know, was just pushing them way too hard. Now, that's just a rumor. I don't know if that's true, and I don't know if that's going to be a good enough excuse or not. Again, take it with a grain of salt. The other thing, I think that's it. The best way to describe this movie, my friend, my god kiddo's dad said, this is the best Star Wars movie that Disney's ever made ever since they acquired Lucasfilm. And that is quite possibly the best analogy for this movie. Again, it's taking Scott Ant-Man out of his element and putting him in a much larger element than what he's not supposed to be in all honesty. But I think that is quite possibly, I mean, it's like the animated movie Strange Worlds. The quantum realm is full of mysterious Dr. Seussian type, you know, creatures and looks and things like that, and very Star Wars like. I mean, some of the vehicles that are used to travel, some of the inhabitants of the world. I mean, very Star Wars and very Dr. Seuss like, basically. So, because Phase 4 was dog vomit, I should say. Dog vomit, it sounds a lot worse, actually. Was dog vomit. I think this movie, I think I went into this movie with low expectations. And because of that, I think I'm not disappointed by the movie. I'm just kind of like, meh, that's it. It's not the greatest movie. It's not a good movie. It's not the worst movie. It's not a bad movie. It's that space in between. And unfortunately, like I said, just because Phase 4 was such a horrible phase, except for maybe 2 movies, I think everyone going in with low expectations, this might be a good movie. And I think that's the only reason a lot of people are going to think this is a good movie. Again, it's just a decent movie. It's okay. I think the first Ant-Man is the better one. It's the best one. Second one, okay. Third one is just right beneath it. But would I watch Quantumania multiple times compared to Wakanda Forever, Love and Thunder, Multiverse of Madness, or Black Widow? Yes, I would prefer this movie far more over, and watching it far more over than those movies. I've yet to watch Eternal, so I don't know about that movie. It's right neck and neck with Shang-Chi. I would probably repeatedly watch this movie and repeatedly watch Shang-Chi about the same. Now, compared to Spider-Man No Way Home, I would watch Spider-Man No Way Home repeatedly far more over than I would Quantumania, okay? So, this is the beginning of Phase 5, so hopefully, now that Phase 4 is over, hopefully things are back on track, and then we can start getting into some good Marvel MCU movies again. But other than that, my rating for this, matinee. I wouldn't pay full price, but I wouldn't wait until it hits the dollar theater either. It's just an okay movie. Like I said, with what I was telling you on my scale, I think I would watch it multiple times compared to the majority of Phase 4 movies. So that's just me. So anyway, that's it. And I think I hear Stan coming back in now. Hey, Andre, how was the movie? It was great, Stan. Oh, and by the way, there's one more thing that I forgot to mention. there's a character, an older character. He's in the shop, and I honestly think that if Stan Lee hadn't passed away, if he were still alive, he would have played that character. That would have been his cameo. And I would have delivered the lines perfectly, too. That's right, Stan, you sure would have. By the way, are those ants? And is that MODOK? What are they doing to MODOK? Oh, no, pay no attention to that. It's nothing. Don't worry about it. Besides, we gotta sign off. Okay, well, sign us off, Stan. That does it for this episode of the No Spoiler Show. And remember, if it looks like dog vomit, it must be spoiled. Until next time, Excelsior!
And where do you think you're going? Did you watch the movie that we reviewed? Do you agree or disagree with our reviews? Place a comment down in the comment section below. And make sure you hit the like button, or else I'll show you why it went from conquering to killing. Until next time.